Let's talk about something most people in the e-commerce world don't want to hear. Starting a Shopify store has never been easier. You can literally go from idea to live store in a weekend. That's incredible, right? But here's the thing, that ease of launching. It's actually a double-edged sword, because launching a store is not the same as building a business. The data is pretty sobering. Over 20% of new businesses fail within their first year. By year 5, that number jumps to nearly 50%. And in the hyper-competitive world of e-commerce, some industry analyses suggest the failure rate for new Shopify stores could be as high as 80 to 95% within the first 2 years. Now, I'm not telling you this to scare you. I'm telling you this because understanding why stores fail is the first step to making sure yours doesn't. So, in this video, we're going to break down the real reasons most Shopify stores fail. And more importantly, what you can do to avoid becoming another statistic. Let's get into it. When we hear business failure, we usually picture something dramatic. A bankruptcy filing, a big meltdown. But for most Shopify stores, failure is much quieter than that. It's a slow fade, a gradual erosion of your cash, your energy, and honestly, your hope. So what does it actually look like? First, there's never reaching profitability. Your store might be generating revenue, maybe even thousands of dollars a month. But after you factor in product costs, marketing, transaction fees, and app subscriptions, there's nothing left. You're working hard, but you're not getting anywhere. Then there's running out of cash. This is the most common killer of startups. Your personal savings run dry before your business can sustain itself. It happens more than people talk about. Some stores get stuck below meaningful revenue. You're making a few $100 a month, enough to feel like a real business, but not enough to actually live on or reinvest for growth. It becomes what I call a zombie store, technically alive but going nowhere. And finally, there are the silent shutdowns. No press release, no announcement. The founder just stops running ads, lets the domain expire, and quietly closes up shop. They're burned out, financially strained, and they move on without anyone ever knowing. The point is, failure usually doesn't announce itself. That's why you need to see it coming before it arrives. All right, let's get into the meat of this. What actually causes Shopify stores to fail? I've identified 7 core reasons, and they're backed by real research. Let's go through each one. Reason number 1, no real market demand. This is the cardinal sin of entrepreneurship. 35% of failed startups say no market need was a primary reason they went under. Here's what happens. Founders fall in love with their product idea. They build a beautiful store, source the product, and then discover the customers they imagined just don't exist, or they're not interested enough to pay. How do you prevent this? Validate demand before you invest heavily. Don't just ask friends and family, they're biased. Instead, do keyword research to see how many people are actually searching for your product. Create a pre-launch landing page and collect email signups. If you can't get a few hundred interested people, that's a red flag. You can even use crowdfunding platforms like Kickstarter. If people are willing to pay before the product exists, you've got real demand. Reason number 2, competing on price instead of differentiation. New store owners often think, the only way I can compete with Amazon is to be the cheapest. This is a fatal strategy. As a small operator, you will never win a price war against retail giants. You end up in a race to the bottom, where your margins are so thin that your business can't survive. The solution? Differentiate your brand. Instead of being the cheapest, be the most valuable to a specific niche. Maybe it's your brand story and you connect with customers on an emotional level. Maybe it's superior service. Maybe it's curation. You become the go-to expert for a specific product category. Or maybe you offer a truly unique product that's better than the alternatives. Reason number 3, poor unit economics and thin margins. A lot of founders launch without really understanding their numbers. They don't calculate their true profit per sale after all costs. The average gross margin in e-commerce is around 40 to 45%, but it varies wildly. Electronics might have margins of only 10 to 15%. Fashion can be 20 to 30%. If your gross margin is too low, you won't have enough to cover marketing, shipping, and operations, let alone make an actual profit. What should you do? Know your numbers from day 1. Calculate your landed cost. That's the total cost to get 1 unit into your hands. Figure out your gross margin, your customer acquisition cost, and your net profit. If you can't make money on a single sale, you don't have a viable business model. It's that simple. Reason number 4, inventory and cash flow mismanagement. Running out of cash kills startups. And for product businesses, this is often tied directly to inventory. Founders either buy too much inventory and tie up all their cash in products that don't sell, or they don't buy enough and run out of their best sellers. Both scenarios hurt. The prevention? Start with an inventory-light model. Consider dropshipping or print on demand to validate your products without holding inventory. Once you've proven demand, take a conservative approach to purchasing. Keep a close watch on your cash flow. Understand your inventory turnover rate. Reason number 5, over-reliance on paid ads. So many new stores launch with one strategy: run Facebook or Google ads. And while paid ads can work, they're expensive and getting more competitive every day. Here's a stat that might surprise you. The average customer acquisition cost in fashion is $129. In electronics, it's $377. If your product's lifetime value isn't significantly higher than your acquisition cost, you're losing money on every customer. Relying only on paid ads is like building a business on rented land. When the rent goes up, and it will, your whole business can collapse. What should you do instead? Build a diversified marketing engine. Invest in SEO so you rank in search engines. Create content, blog posts, guides, videos that attract your target audience. Build an email list and nurture those relationships. These organic channels take time, but they compound and become assets you own. Reason number 6, low trust and weak brand signals. In a world full of online scams, trust is everything. New stores often fail because they just look untrustworthy. Research shows that 19% of shoppers abandon their cart because they don't trust the site with their credit card. And 87% of shoppers are willing to pay more for a product if they have strong trust in the brand. So how do you build trust? Invest in a clean, professional, mobile-friendly design. Use high-quality product photography. Display customer reviews and testimonials. Have clear, easy-to-find shipping and return policies. And create a real About Us page. Show the people behind the brand. People buy from people they trust. Reason number 7, operational complexity too early. Founders often try to do too much too soon. They offer dozens of products, ship internationally, and try to manage 5 marketing channels before they've mastered even one. This creates chaos. Trying to be everything to everyone means you end up being nothing to anyone. The fix: start simple. Niche down and target a very specific customer with a small, curated product selection. Master one marketing channel before adding others. Start by selling in your home country until you've got logistics figured out. You can always expand later, but only after you've built a stable foundation. Now that we've covered what causes failure, let's flip the script. What do successful Shopify stores actually do differently? They're not just lucky, they're disciplined. First, they validate demand before scaling. They test their ideas. They make sure there's a real market before investing thousands in inventory and ads. Second, they choose categories with margin and branding leverage. They avoid hyper-competitive, low-margin categories. Instead, they focus on niches where they can build a strong brand and actually command a premium price. Third, they increase their average order value before scaling traffic. They use bundling, upsells, and cross-sells to make each customer more profitable before they pour money into getting more traffic. Fourth, they keep operations simple early. They start with a lean model like dropshipping, and only add complexity when the business can actually support it. And fifth, they build trust before obsessing over conversion optimization. They understand that trust is the foundation. You can have the best website in the world, but if people don't trust you, they won't buy. These aren't revolutionary ideas, but they require discipline, and that's what separates successful stores from the rest. Before we wrap up, let's bust some myths that trip up a lot of new founders. Myth number 1, traffic solves everything. It doesn't. Traffic is useless if your store doesn't convert or if your unit economics are broken. What you need is profitable traffic. Myth number 2, more products equals more sales. Actually, more products often mean more complexity, split focus, and higher inventory risk. Curation is often more powerful than selection. Myth number 3, cheapest price wins. This is a race to the bottom that small stores cannot win. Value and brand win in the long run. Myth number 4, ads first, brand later. Building a brand is what lets you move away from depending on paid ads. Brand building should start on day one, not later. Don't let these myths steer you in the wrong direction. All right, let's make this actionable. Here is a simple early stage checklist you can use to set yourself up for success. 1. Demand validation. Have you gathered real objective evidence that people will buy your product? That means pre-orders, email signups from a landing page, not just your friends saying, "That's a cool idea." 2. Unit economic sanity check. Can you make a profit on a single sale after all costs? Is your gross margin at least 40%? If not, you need to rethink your pricing or your product. 3. Brand and trust basics. Does your store look professional and trustworthy? Do you have clear policies and social proof? First impressions matter. 4. AOV and monetization levers. Do you have a plan to increase the value of each customer beyond their first purchase? Think email marketing, bundles, subscriptions. 5. Operational risk minimization. Are you starting with the simplest possible operational model, like print on demand or drop shipping, to minimize your upfront cash risk? Run through this checklist before you scale. It could save you a lot of money and heartache. Here's the bottom line. Most Shopify failures are not a mystery. They're the predictable result of skipping fundamental business principles. The allure of a quick launch often distracts founders from the hard work of building a real sustainable business. The stores that succeed, they're not the ones who found some secret hack. They're the ones who designed for survivability first and scale second. Focus on validation. Understand your numbers. Build a trustworthy brand. Keep operations lean. Modern tools make this disciplined approach more accessible than ever. The opportunity in e-commerce is massive, but it belongs to those who treat their Shopify store not as a lottery ticket, but as a serious business. Thanks for watching. If this was helpful, make sure to subscribe and check out our other videos on building a successful online brand.